What's up, guys? It's Arsenal Garage. So today is a little bit of a different thing from just working on cars. Many of you guys may have a shop space, maybe you don't, and that's all right. But a lot of the problems with a shop space is organizing a shop space, right? You got to have it clean, and I have a hard time with that sometimes. So, got a few different things. First of all, I got my chair out of a Land Cruiser. It's just been wood adapter, and there's like a CD009 transmission. It's a Miata engine and transmission laying around and waiting to be built. There's a dog out there dropping stuff. I got like 4 wheels here. I got another 4 wheels there. Got another extra tire there. Got a tire there, a wheel there. I have an issue with wheels, and you know what? This is actually after getting rid of some. Now, looking at it, I've got this big empty wall space. I mean, I can move the American flag around, but I've got this big wall space, right? So what I'm going to do today is we're going to build a tire/wheel rack. Now, there's plenty of other videos that show you how to do this. It's not really that hard. So I won't feel offended if you watch other channels, because like I said, there's tons of these videos out there. But basically, I'm just going to show you guys how to do it. We're going to draw it up. So we have all our dimensions, everything we need. I'm going to show you what supplies we need, where we're going to go, and we're going to take a trip to the hardware store to get them. Okay, so one of the hard parts about putting a shelf in here to do both wheels and tires is obviously these are a very different outer diameter than wheels. So these are 15-inch wheels. They're roughly actually, from lip to lip, they're closer to 16 inches than 15, of course, because 15-inch wheels is not outer diameter. It's actually where they seat on the inside here. That's 15 inches. But, so we're gonna, basically, I might have to build 2 different sections on the shelf. One that is made for wheels, because they're skinnier. So say if I build this, because you don't want it to be all the way at 16, you probably want it to be closer to, I don't know, 15 inches. So that way the wheel would sit in there nicely. But if I do 15 inches on a tire, that's not very much sitting room at all. I want it probably be more something like closer to 20 inches. I'm going to measure out the length I want to do on the wall. Now I want to do it like as long as I can. So from that door frame over there to however close I can get to it without hitting the door. Once I get all this cleaned up and organized, get it on the engine stand ready to build, I can actually maybe bring my motorcycle in here and start working on that. A little bit hard for one person, but as I can say, I can get 7 feet. So I think we're going to go to full 7 feet and have as much room as possible. This is basically the idea. So I want it to be adjustable, right? And so here's what I came up with that I think is going to be the easiest way to do it. So this is the side profile of the board right here. So this one. And so what I'm thinking is these are probably, I don't know, maybe 3/4 inch, 1 inch dowels, right? So we're going to start did some measuring, decided I wanted the outer dimension to be 30 inches. Which is pretty decent size. That can fit most tires. It's not going to fit huge truck tires, but it'll fit all car tires pretty much. So what we have here is it's going to be a 2x4, right? It's going to be constructed out of 2x4s. And typically 2x4s are actually more closer to, if I remember right, 1.5 inches. So this is just kind of rough measuring. It's not going to be perfect. It's not perfect science. So it's okay if it's not completely accurate. But if I remember right, they're like 1.5 inches, so that leaves the inside to 27 inches, right? And so with the dowel holes, we've decided to space them every 3 inches, because that gives me more of the measurements I want here. So like without a dowel, if you want something really big, it's 27 inches. That's pretty big. Then we go down to 24, down to 21, to 18, and 15. Now 21 is what I actually wanted to do for the 4 sets of the set of wheels and tires I have, and 15 inches is what I wanted to do for the alloy wheels. Now also one other thing I decided to do, I was trying to decide how many ways I wanted to split it, but I think that just splitting it directly in half is going to be the best way to do it. So that puts it at 3.5 feet. Now I should be able to fit, on most wheels and tires, I should be able to fit 4 to 5 in a half. It depends. I mean, if you have some super wide ones, obviously that's going to change. But right now I can fit like 4 or 5 wheels and tires on each side. Now that's pretty good. I thought about splitting it in thirds and stuff like that, but the problem is splitting in thirds, that's like right in the middle of like a 4th tire, and that kind of just takes up space. So this way I can fit the most optimized. Now this kind of design I'm thinking right here,
So we're just gonna lay it out 7 feet across, right? 7 feet across, 3.5 feet in the center. We got our 5 dowel holes right here, spaced out every 3 inches. And then what we'll probably just do is, originally my thought was, you can kind of see I erased it, was to put a 2x4 and bolt it to the side. But then I didn't have the dowel idea yet. So the problem is with that is then it blocks the dowels really, unless you drill through it, it's just more of a pain. So my thought now is basically come down and you attach it directly to the top of the 2x4, you know? So it's like you have your 2x4, excuse that's terrible, and then it just bolts or screws in directly to the top, right? You're gonna need some long screws, but that's the idea. You can go in here as well, and that should be plenty firm. Now for the wall, then we're just gonna probably have a separate 2x4 that goes up here, so I can mount it as ever high as I want, and then it's just a matter of angle on this piece right here. We'll use lag bolts, of course, attach them to the studs, because regular screws are not strong enough, guys. They will break, they'll fade, whatever. I mean, sure, you could get away with it for a while, but lag bolts is what you want. If it's cost efficient, I might actually end up using a cable, because with a cable, I can tighten it and loosen it and adjust it. Same with chain. So I'm going to see how much those cost as well, and if that seems like a better way to do it, then I'm going to go with a cable instead. I mean, I could easily enough just put an eyelet up here and an eyelet down here. 2x4s are cheap. I think they're like $3 a piece. They're not expensive. I already have screws. I should have most of them. I think I've got 3-inch screws to attach most of this together. I'm probably going to go to the hardware store and just do some shopping. I actually used math, guys, out of high school. What a surprise. So I was calculating things that we'd need here, so I added up all the different lengths, and I decided I'm not going to use a 2x4. After trying to figure out math and stuff, and then I realized if I put it right here, you know, there's not much support. And if I put it right here, it's right within the holes. I'd worry about, you know, getting a screw in the hole and just, I mean, there's ways around it, but I decided, you know, that's not the way to go. So it's going to be a cable instead. So using math, added up all the different lengths of 2x4, got 333 inches, which equals 27.75 feet. Now, if I remember right, 2x4 is like 8 feet. 4 of those equals 32 feet extra. Awesome. That's what you want. It's always better to have too much. Then I'm thinking 1-inch dowel. We may go 3/4 inch or something smaller. We'll see, but it'll probably be 1 inch. And I can't remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 feet. So I'd need 2 of those. Cable, we actually use Pythagorean theorem, guys. Look at that. We found out that's 42.4 inches across, because we're going to do 30 inches in height, 30 inches across. So it's going to be roughly there. So math, times 3, because we'll probably do 1, 2, and 3. Times by 3 is 127. Divided by 12, it's like 10.5. So we'll probably do like 11.5 feet, just to have extra. Lag bolts, using my handy dandy stud finder, which you don't necessarily need, but it sure makes life a lot easier, and they're not too expensive. I went across the wall. I measured like 7, and I'm pretty sure. Now that'd be plenty. So I might even get an extra 1 or 2. Like I said, because it's better to have extra in case you like break something, one doesn't work out right, whatever. But 14 is the amount I need. Now I'm pretty sure that's everything. I've already got a lot of wood screws, and so if you don't have wood screws, you're going to need some of those. Now with the 2x4, you'd probably be best getting something like 2.5 inch to fasten all these together, because you want to make sure you're getting good penetration, and you're going through at least 1.5 inches. So 2.5 inch would probably be nominal for that. And then I think that's just about everything I need marked out. I'm probably going to have to buy a hole saw. I don't know if I have a hole saw in that size, so I'm going to have to go double check. None of this is that expensive. Oh, I forgot. If I'm doing cable, I need to get attachment points. That I'm going to have to figure out when I get there, though, because I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. I realized that I had this. This cable right here. Pretty sure it's like 3/16 cable. I got it from an auto shop. Basically, they had to replace some cable in a shop crane. They were just going to get rid of it, so I took it. It's perfectly capable for this. I have it, so it's free, so I'm going to use it. It's not that expensive otherwise at all, but this is what I'm going to use. Got the dog. He's coming with. It's Kenobi, by the way. Okay, so we just finished at the Home Depot. Okay, so we got some hardware. Got some 1-inch dowel. We got everything but a few last things. So we got 3.5 inch lag bolts. We got 15 of them. So we have extra. Got a 1-inch hole saw. It was like the most expensive part. It was like $8. And then I ended up getting some of these too, so I can adjust them. So those are like $1 a piece or something like that. I got 3 of those. And then I got 6 of these, and I think that's it. So now the only thing I didn't get was cable crimps. All the ones I had here at Home of Depot were expensive. I know Lowe's has them for cheap, so I'm just gonna run to Lowe's and see what they're like there. So far with all this, I'm at like 45 bucks, I think. All right, Kenobi. So we just stopped by Lowe's, and we just picked up 12 of these. Cable clamps, pretty simple, nothing fancy, just a little U-bolt. These are like 75 cents a piece, something like that. So I needed 12 of them since I'm using the adjusters. Now you could do it without the adjusters, and then you only need 6. But I needed 12. So I got 12 of those. The nice thing is, it ended up being like $10.02. At Home Depot, it was, I think it was like $4 for 3. They only came in packs, so you can buy them individually. So I would have been closer to, let's see, math, 16 bucks probably with tax, something like that. Somewhere in that area. So I saved some money there. I mean, it's just down the street from Home Depot. So I picked those up, and I think we have everything we need now. We got the 2x4s, which is going to build our structure. We got for the mounting on the wall, for the rack, all of that. And then we got our 4-foot dowels. They were 4-foot. I got 1-inch dowels with a 1-inch hole saw. We got eyelets, so we can attach the cable to the 2x4s. We got the adjusters. We got the cable at home. I've got the clamps. So we should have everything we need. So pretty much all that's left is to go home, measure things up, cut them, and put things together. Okay, so first steps first. I gotta take all this out, clear a room for it so it's easy to work on, so that way I'm not constantly trying to bend over stuff. So, ta-da! Move magic. Alright, so it's all moved. I didn't really noticed that before. It's just kind of all scooted out of the way. I'm gonna reorganize this while we're at it. Flag's been relocated. Alright, I don't know if you can see them. Studs and stuff like that are kind of marked out. Okay, so I can't have it like any longer than 7 feet or else it's going to hit the door. So basically this is how we're going to do it. We're going to have 81 inches, so 84 inches is 7 feet. So we're going to do 81, and it's going to be 30 inches wide. And those will be the ends. That's about 1.5 inches on each 2x4, so that would take us up plus 3 to 84. So it's going to be like exactly 7 feet pretty much. So that's the first step. So we're going to mark out 2 of those to 81, and then the other one will be 84, because 84 is going to be full length, and it goes along the top. So we'll get to that. One way to keep things more square, because sometimes your measurements aren't always perfect. Now, right now we're cutting the 3 center pieces, right, that hold it together, that keep it square. Now if your measurements are a little bit off, you're going to warp your boards, right, they're not going to be straight. So if we line up butt the ends together, so they're flush, and when we just run the blade down the side of this, they'll all be exactly the same. So that way there is no weird wiggling in the board. So that's just a little tip. Okay, so it's kind of laid out now. So you got the 30-inch, 27, 30, 81 inch overall length of 7 feet, and that's a 7 feet piece right there. So basically that's how it's going to be. So probably what we're going to do here is go ahead and attach the thingamabobbers. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So next up is going to be measuring out for the hole saw. So this is 27 inches right here, right? So we're going to go 3 inches in from there, 3 inches in from there, etc., etc. And then our last one will be right in the center. So do that on both sides. I'll show you that, and then we'll do the center and attach it all together. So we ran into a little snag. So of course something with these 2 bits doesn't line up. Either the dowel's not 1 inch or the hat's not 1 inch, because it doesn't fit. Like, you know, like what is this? So I tried. Biggest thing I have next to it is like a 3/4 inch step bit, and I reamed them out kind of, and got the first 2 like to fit, but it was just taking forever. So my dad's actually home now from work, and he's gonna help me out. So he's gonna go grab one of these style bits, just a little bit bigger, to go in and do the other ones. So these are the only ones I've done so far, so I'm not even gonna mess with the other ones. So, and there actually has been a change of plans. Now my dad's than more of this stuff than I have. And so we had this, he brought up another better idea that's even simpler. And instead of going to the wall like this, instead what we're thinking is, if we have a stud in the ceiling that's in about the right place, even if it's like a little bit farther or wherever, then we'll just hang it from the ceiling. So that completely eliminates this right here, which would make life easier, definitely. So I'm going to look into that. But I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but that would be a lot more simple. So I'm going to check it now, see if that's even something we can do. If the studs aren't close enough in the ceiling, then we're just going to go back and use this sort of design. So we ended up finding out there's a stud that runs 24 inches out from the wall. So we decided that's going to be easier. So basically then we're just going to go to our eyelets, which are 1/4 inch. So I think this is like a 3/16 drill bit, if I remember right. So we're just going on, got the stud finder, mark it where it is, go in the center, pre-drill the hole, and then feed this in. It's pretty simple, and that's going to be a lot easier than trying to attach the two boards. Alright, so here's the solution, and it is much faster. We got a 1 1/8, so it's a little bit bigger. I gotta say, I mean, it's a lot more messy than a hole saw, but it just cleared those holes out like way faster. So get one of these. I think it was like $10, but much better investment than that crappy hole saw. So now they fit perfectly. So I'm gonna next attach that in the center. You can already see I've attached the eyelets to this, just one there, one in the center, one on the end. So now we just gotta center that up, bolt it on, or drill it, I don't know, screw it on, whatever, that thing, and then we'll anchor it to the wall. Alright, done, attached. Everything works. You can see they all slide in just like they should. We didn't film much of that because it was kind of a pain, but you can see the lag bolts. Basically just had to go into all the studs, use a washer, drove the lag bolts in, and we actually used a cable first to get it sorted out. So we did that first. We finish nailed it just to hold it in place. Problem is now, after it's all mounted, this dowel's too weak. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go get some metal conduit pipe instead. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it bows out and wheels almost fell off. But the principle works. It's solid. I can put all my weight on this. Alright, so a little while later, we're back. So this is the conduit. Yeah, it's bent. That's how I fit it in my dad's truck. It's actually 3/4 inch. It was like almost $5 cheaper than 1 inch for some reason. So I just got 3/4 inch. It was 10 foot. It was like $6. And now it's all mounted in here. It's a lot of space saving. I can organize it much better now. I mean, I still got to organize it, as Kenobi's did. But it's a vast improvement now. It bows a little bit, but it's hardly there at all. And these wheels are pretty heavy, so if they don't bow under that, I'm not worried. But that's nice, like I said. So it's adjustable. The only thing is, unless you have a full length one, you can't have these on the same. But besides that, it's fully adjustable. The cables are adjustable. So right now they all have tension. It's completely level this way and that way. Everything worked out awesome. I mean, so I'm into this close to $60, which is not bad at all. Well, if you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you watching. So we're going to go over things one more time. And yeah, that'll be it. It's all done. I'm super happy with it. Like, seriously, that made a huge difference in there. I got to finish organizing, bringing things back in, but I'll do that on my own. But the space saving is awesome because I had 11 wheels and tires in there. So that's a lot. That's a lot of space. That really is. Could barely walk on the shop floor in there. It was pretty bad. So it's going to be super nice to have all that. I don't hit my head on it. It's close, but I don't hit my head. The door can open. It's not in the way of anything, so it's super nice. So let's go over everything one more time. This was like the beginning sketch. Now I didn't end up following that a whole ton, except that's okay. I mean, I followed the basic structure, but not the mounting really. So the basic structure is still the same. This was the idea, but we ended up not using the 2x4 here, and not using 2x4s here, or cables there. And that's okay. It's always good to draw them out and have a sketch of it because it kind of helps you work out your ideas and your measurements. It's also nice to have a second opinion. Like I had my dad's. He's done a lot more carpentry than I have in the past, and it was really awesome to have his opinion because it made things a lot easier and a lot more simple doing it his way. So let's go over the final materials here. So my nice handwriting. So we ended up only needing 3 2x4s. They were the 92-inch lengths, if I remember right. So like around 8 feet, and that was plenty. I still had a little bit extra, but if you don't mess up, then it's all you need. Now I ended up using 3/4 inch conduit. So instead of dowels, I wouldn't use the dowels. It was actually about the same price to get a 3/4 inch conduit. You could get the 1 inch as well. Either way, 1 inch was stronger, but 3/4 inch was cheaper. So I went with the 3/4 inch, and that was a good way to go. It's a lot stronger, it doesn't bend. Cable, I used like 8.5 feet almost, so I'd get like 9 feet just to be safe. And I used, let's see. So it's kind of odd. I don't know how I ended up this way, but it is. So it's like 20 inches on the top and 13 inches on the bottom. That's just how it ended up. Don't ask me why, because I can't tell you. 3 turnbuckles, and those are the adjuster things right there in the center. Those are really nice to have. You could do it without them. It's just a lot harder to get the tension right and the height and the level and things like that. With the turnbuckles, if it's a little bit loose when you mount it, it's fine because you just tighten it up, boom. You can adjust level, tension, all of it. It's super nice. I'd recommend it, but again, you don't need it. 6 eyelets. Eyelets are in the center in both ends. Same on the ceiling. So those are just mounted into a stud that runs across the ceiling. We used also 12 cable clamps. So the cable clamps were pretty cheap. They're like 70-something cents. And that's just, what you fasten. I just used an impact, my little electric impact, boom, done. Now, I also had to buy this. I had a hole saw too. I wouldn't recommend the hole saw. You could do it that way. It's a cleaner cut. It's not as messy, but you need to make sure it's a little bit bigger than your dowel size or whatever you use. I like using this. It was way faster. That hole saw already feels like it's worn out, and this is brand new still. So this still looks new, still works great, easy, fast. So I'd recommend one of those. But overall, I think that's about it. Now, if you just include these costs, if you do that, I'm into it probably about $60. And that's pretty good. I mean, you can buy racks and things like that, but it's completely homemade. It's all adjustable, so you can change it per size, per weight, whatever, and you can always reuse it later. There's lots of different things to it, which is really cool. So $60
really isn't that bad. It's pretty worth it. And I mean, for storage, I've always had an issue with organization. So yeah, but it's gonna help a lot. It's gonna free up space, so I can actually probably get my bike in here and start getting work done on my bike as well.
Just a quick little clip of it. Mostly all organized. Got the bike in. I'm just not gonna use that door anymore because I've got this door. So parked it there because that's really the only viable place. We'll get more into that later. It's a pretty cool project. It's a GS550, so we'll get more into that. But as you can see, engine's mostly organized. There's more engine parts, there's bike parts. I'd like to redo that. Air compressor, garbage. Got the wheel up there. I've got 11 wheels and tires up there. Works awesome. Got my spark plug coat hanger. Still need to work on this area. Move this over here. Got my stereo in. And overall, it's already that much better. So it's not perfect, but definitely an improvement, guys.
Overall, highly recommend it. If you guys have any questions, comments, ideas, ways to improve, whatever, I'd love to hear them. So thanks again. Appreciate you guys watching Arsenal Garage. So I'll catch you next time.